Olá, seja bem-vinda e seja bem-vindo ao Campo Diplomático, espaço reservado para falar sobre as relações do Brasil com o mundo. Hoje nós vamos falar sobre o Bangladesh e suas relações com o Brasil. O país asiático é o terceiro maior produtor de pescados do mundo e também o quarto em produção de arroz. Em 12 anos, o seu PIB cresceu 200% e continuou durante a pandemia, também conhecido como o tigre asiático. A nossa entrevistada hoje é a embaixadora do Bangladesh, Sadia Faizunessa, formada em medicina com estudos de desenvolvimento pela Universidade de Dhaka. A diplomata de carreira serviu nas embaixadas de Berlim e Bangkok e foi também representante adjunta na missão permanente da ONU em Nova York, responsável pelas negociações dos Objetivos de Desenvolvimento para 2030. As suas prioridades agora na sua estadia no Brasil é aprimorar o comércio agrícola entre os dois países e também o comércio em geral entre os dois países. Embaixadora, welcome to Campo Diplomático and thank you so much for your presence.
Thank you so much, Gabriel, for your heartiest welcome. I'm also, through you and through your audience, sending the warm greetings from Bangladesh.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I wanted to start talking to our viewers a little bit about your country. And it's been growing steadily for a very long time, actually, developing its agriculture industry, its trade, as well as its textile industry, amongst others. What's been responsible for such growth in so long?
Yeah, thank you for this very pertinent question to start with. I will just give a brief introduction about my country. And Gabriel, you know that this year is very momentous for Bangladesh because only, I think, few countries can enjoy in history both the Golden Jubilee, 50th year of our independence, as well as 100th anniversary, birth centennial of our founding father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. So when Bangladesh emerged as an independent country after 9 years long war in 1971, Bangladesh was projected as a futile effort by many. And even we were told that we will be a perennial case of a basket case. So we started not from zero, from negative actually. And at that point of time, our per capita income was only $97. And today, within 50 years, it's such a short time, we are $2,591 per capita income. And it is indeed a development, socio-development miracle that has very silently taken place, a miracle of development that has very silently taken place in Bangladesh from a war-ravaged economy, and now we have become a middle income country. So this tremendous socioeconomic development was not result overnight. It is after the independence, our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, he got only 3.5 years to lay the foundations of the economic, social, and political development of a country. And he actually focused with the besides the policy level formulation for the agricultural development, economic development, social security development, he really focused on the small and marginalized farmers of the country. And it went hand in hand. He laid the foundation, unfortunately, after he was brutally assassinated in 1975, 15th August, along with his 19 members of his family. We were going backwards, military rule and not a democratic government. But we were fortunate that our current Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, who happens to be the able daughter of the founding father, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who fortunately was not killed on that night because she was out of the country. She came back and to the country. She was a refugee for 6 years, and then she devoted to fulfill the dream of our founding father to build Bangladesh a hunger-free, poverty-free, progressive, golden Bangladesh. So, and to promote the democratic values in the society. So gradually, when she became first Prime Minister in 1996, she tried to focus on the unfinished work of the founding father. And then again, she was re-elected in 2010, and since then she has been re-elected for 3 consecutive terms. And her leadership, I have to give her my salute, that her dynamic leadership has brought in last 1 decade our poverty rate has decreased from 31.5% to 20.5%.
Wow.
And extreme poverty is now 10%. So this is a drastic reduction of poverty. And the basket case Bangladesh was said we will be always depending on foreign aid, which is not true. There, the magic is our population growth rate was there, but also our government could, with the help of the NGOs, we could reduce our population growth rate, and our population doubled, but our rice production, actually it was 4 times. So you see that there is the magic. So I just give you a data, like in 1971 our food production was around 15 million ton, and today it is around 55 million ton, which is 4 times higher. And our population growth rate at the population was around 70 million, and now around 160 million. So population has doubled, but the rice production has quadrupled 4 times.
That is extremely impressive, because this is a country that was from a underdeveloped within the nomenclature of international development to now developing country.
Yes.
With the capacity of then being self-sustainable.
Yes.
With regard to empowering the small farmers, right? And this is possible with a country that has a dense population as well, which for many viewers may be quite a large achievement, but it's a surprise as well, right? And Bangladesh has a size approximately of the Brazilian state of Amapá.
Brazil is 58 times bigger than Bangladesh.
Exactly. So there's...
but the population of Bangladesh is 170 million.
Wow. Which is close to what we have in our national area.
So we are not a small country.
Not at all. Not at all. Maybe size, but don't be fooled by the size, correct?
And also the economic growth.
So we have a lot maybe to talk about in terms of how we can improve our relations, because Bangladesh has a lot to offer. And one of the things that I remember seeing within the research was that Bangladesh invested a lot in the education in order to bring professionals that can bring capacity to farmers in order for them to improve their way of farming, especially fish. And so that's my question for you. Is how did that development come to be since the independence of Bangladesh, which also shares its relations with Brazil since that time in 1971, correct?
Yes. I have to say that since we are also celebrating 50th year of our establishment of diplomatic relations with Brazil, which was established in May 15, 1972. And we are grateful to Brazil for their early recognition of our independence of Bangladesh. Coming back to the revolution, that silent revolution that has taken place in our fisheries, particularly in the inland fisheries. So after 1971, our first focus is to have the self-sufficiency in rice production. That is our staple food, that to secure the food security. And then we started focusing on nutrition security. So we found out that the protein from vegetable, fish protein, and we are a fish lover country. We have many inlands. If you go to Bangladesh, you will see many rivers. So, and even if you go look at from the bird's eye view, you will see even in winter time, which is usually dry season, you will see many water bodies, shallow lands filled with water. Actually, those are some natural, some are man-made. Our small and marginal farmers, they are innovative and they are also resilient to the climate impact of the climate change. As you know, Bangladesh is also one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change. So the intrusion of salinity and these was a major threat for the rice production for small farmers. So they came up with an innovative idea that they transformed their small paddy field into a small pond, not very deep, and started doing aquaculture. And government actually extended all type of research or technical know-how is needed to help these small and marginal farmers. So our agricultural university, which is in Mymensingh, it's a very renowned university, started doing the researches on how can we produce more fishes to give more proteins to the growing population, and that's how those farmers transformed their paddy field into a small land, and they started producing inland fish production, and they found out that when the return from production of fish is much more higher than producing the paddy field, rice, they stick to it. And that's how it has become a revolution, and now Bangladesh is the third largest inland fish producing country.
Yes.
And I think more than half of it comes from the aquaculture.
That's wonderful.
And we are exporting fishes in the European Union, USA, UAE, Australia, and some ASEAN countries.
Good, good.
And I think this is a wonderful sector for Bangladesh and Brazil to connect. And I believe as ambassador, this is one of the priorities, to connect Bangladesh and Brazil in aquaculture and agriculture and livestock production.
Wonderful. One of the scientific advances also made by the university was the development of floating farms, which allowed for an additional 40% of arable land, not only for the rice, but mainly for the fish. Now, one distinction of the type of agriculture in Bangladesh is that it's usually organic. And there's a limitation in use of pesticides as well. And this improves the value of exportation of these products, which allows for these small farmers as well to be well paid in that sense. So how has the country looked at organic production and looking at these ways of improving, let's say, sales for exportation for other countries in this short term?
Floating farms actually not new to Bangladesh. It was a long agricultural tradition and also part of our culture. Like every house has an orchard, a small garden, the village households, they used to have a floating farms. So again, it was demand driven. It was demand driven because our lands are marshy lands. We have lands which are filled with water all the time, and people do not get soil or land to produce their crops or vegetable. So this was an innovative tradition that Bangladesh followed for years, for decades. Recently, it has been come into the attention of the global media, and they are disseminating this information. So particularly, basically what happens that we have water hyacinth, that's an invasive weed, and that used to be not very beneficial for the ecosystem. So our farmers, innovative farmers, they found out the way to collect this water hyacinth along with the paddy stubs. After the harvest, the paddy stubs, they bundle it and make a raft, a very innovative homemade, homegrown way. And on top of that, the women back in the home, they help, or actually they particularly do the germination of the seeds in a very organic way. They use the cow dung and the coconut fibers to wrap it, and when the seeds germinate, then the men take it to that water bodies and put the seeds there or put the saplings there. So it's again a cooperation between women and men, and that's how they produce vegetables, and sometimes rice, paddies are also produced there. And at the same time, government has helped to give the access to the market. So these small and marginal farmers, they have direct access to the market. They know the actual price. There are no middlemen that they will take the profit away. Because at the same time, our government has paid much attention in digital technology. The cellular phone, we are one of the highest subscribers in the world of cellular phone. So they have all these digital technologies, the internet connection, they can know the market fare, and then the small boats comes into that farms and then take that production, what the small farmers produce, they sell it there, and then it goes to the market. And now we are because this is in 2015, the UN Food and Agricultural Organizations declared Bangladesh's floating farms as the globally important agricultural tradition or heritage. So it is environment friendly, and it is also agricultural biodiversity. It embraces that, and also it embraces the natural ecology. And more importantly, it's a cultural tradition. So that's how it has gained very attention of the world. And but I have to say that credit goes to our small and marginal farmers, who are not only resilient and innovative, but they do have an entrepreneurial intuitiveness inside them. And these entrepreneurial skills or the intuitiveness of the people, the farmers of Bangladesh, has largely contributed in this magnificent development in aquaculture.
Wonderful.
And floating farms.
Yes, yes. Now, one of the also the staples of the national economy is also the textile industry, the pharmaceutical industry, and the IT sector as well. And one of your missions here, obviously, is to improve trade relations with Brazil. So what are some of your priorities now with relation to these areas with the Brazilian government?
You are pinning exactly the points that that's my priorities. So Bangladesh is the second largest ready-made garments exporter after China. Bangladesh is the second largest IT outsourcing country after India. And also Bangladesh is doing very good in pharmaceuticals production, as well as export of that pharmaceuticals. So I am trying to connect meaningfully these three industries with Brazil, because I know Brazil has a very high demand of garments and also pharmaceuticals. And how can we collaborate on IT sectors, although language is a barrier there, but we can work on that. So we had a team from our Garments Manufacturing Association. They visited Sao Paulo Garments Association in 2019, and they signed a memorandum of understanding. Because of the COVID, it didn't proceed. But now that it has opened up, we will have another Garments Manufacturing Association's visits, and we want to bring garments to Brazil directly. So it will be very economically sustainable. And I have to tell you also, Bangladesh is the house of the largest numbers of green garments factory, and so there is a huge potential in that, and I will like to invite the garments manufacturer and the industry people from Brazil to go to Bangladesh and to see. Also, we are working with Anvisa here regarding the pharmaceuticals import. And some of our private pharmaceuticals company has established connection with Anvisa, and we are also proceeding in a positive direction in that way. So these are the sectors that actually needs to be boosted more robustly between the two countries, and there is huge potentials I see ahead of us in these two sectors.
Wonderful. Taking advantage of your experience in New York, having negotiated with the Sustainable Development Goals, how is the country challenging or working to challenge the climate changes happening nowadays?
Yes, Bangladesh is one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change, as I said. Until last year, actually, our Prime Minister was the president of the Climate Vulnerable Forum, CVF, and we were always very vocal during also the negotiation of the Sustainable Development Goals to have a climate goal as a single goal. At one point of time, it's only Bangladesh was supporting in favor of that, because you know there are much politics around this climate issue. But this is a reality, and we are faced, climate change is kind of an existential threat for Bangladesh. If there is 1 meter rise of water sea level, 1/3 of our country will go under the water within hours. But our people, as I said, we are very resilient, and government has taken this up very seriously. You will be very surprised to know that when the world was not very vocal about it, Bangladesh had its own climate adaptation fund from our own resources. We didn't take any aid from any other countries. And also, I can give you one example, like since we are one of the largest, and now third largest rice producing country, how did we achieve that in a small land, right? So our scientists invented a special kind of rice, which is a saline resistant. So it grows even in the saline land. And also another kind of rice that our scientists invented, that is called short-lived rice. So before the flash flood comes and floods the paddy fields, we can harvest our rice. So these are the innovative researches that the government helped, and our innovative and resilient farmers and researchers, they brought out. And we know that how to live, how to adapt. We are continuously adapting with the changes, the river erosion, the floods, the cyclones, and everything. We now know. Even we know how to take care of the cattle when we are hit by a cyclone. So we have learned it. And we want to share our good practices with other countries which are facing the similar challenges. That's how also I think we can cooperate with the countries which are actually facing the threats. So, but adaptation is a continuous process. And there is no way that if we do not invent our own way, we can adapt it. And also, you know, the underground water level due to the climate change is going below and below and below. And in the northern part of our country, which is a dry area, although it was famous for its rice production, and now the farmers saw that, the small farmers, again, it's the water level is going down. So it's their innovative idea. What did they do? They transformed their paddy field into a mango orchard to make it cooler, and the mango production. And you know that we are one of the third largest vegetable production. We are the 8th largest mango producers, and we are also exporting those mangoes, guavas, jackfruit. So that's how the farmers actually changed their dry paddy field into a very, very profitable and environment friendly mango orchards or other fruit orchards.
Wonderful. Ambassador, thank you so much for your visit here. Our time is unfortunately up. I think we could have a second edition of this program to talk more about fruit production, vegetable production, and so much more. I also talk a little bit more about the women empowerment as well in Bangladesh, but I hope we have another opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. I will look very much forward to come to you and through you talking to our beloved Brazilians. And I can say, although Bangladesh is 10,000 miles away, but we are very close. We are a diehard supporter of Brazilian football. And good luck this year. And again, warm greetings from my beautiful country, Bangladesh.
Wonderful. E para você que nos acompanhou até agora, muito obrigado pela audiência e ficamos por aqui. Até a semana que vem. Tchau!